After last week's powerful eclipse, don't you think we deserve a break? Well, boy, are we going to get a lovely one. It's going to be playtime. And the reason I say that is because we're moving into a whole lot of Leo. This Monday, July 22nd, the sun goes into Leo, but he's going to meet a lot of other Leos there. And this is really the reason why vacations are always the best in August, because Leo energy is playful, it is fun with family, it is being with the ones you love and loving it. Leo fire is literally like the campfire that you sit around with your tribe. And there's another very lucky and happy event this week, and it comes on Thursday, the 25th, when Mars makes a lovely harmony with joyous Jupiter. So this is just plain old good fortune. And that's many days before and a few days after. So whatever you plan on that day, on this Thursday, that action will be very successful for you. And then the third thing I want to talk about is Venus, who is going to join the sun in Leo. So she'll move into Leo just Saturday in time for a lovely Saturday night of fun and romance. And that's just going to get better and better because Venus will be sort of catching up with the sun all the way until Tuesday, August the 13th. And I'm going to talk more later about August 13th. It's a very, very wonderful week. So start getting out your gold stars to put them on your calendars. So Venus will be traveling with the sun until August 21st. And then they are going to have the best farewell party ever. So hi, I'm Judith Royal. I'm an archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for the week of July 22nd to the 28th, 2019. And I want to say first a little word about catch up after last week's, on the 16th, very powerful eclipse that was in the sign of Capricorn. It triggered, in a smaller way, the big energy that we're building towards for July 12th of 2020, and that is the meetup of Saturn and Pluto, the first time in 500 years. It's less than 6 months ahead of us now, so we really want to tune in and sync our energies with this by being aware of the things that pop up for us in our personal life that give us a little clue. So Saturn and Pluto are both right now retrograde, along with 3 other planets, but they are separating from each other right now, still, though, only 5 degrees apart. And that's going to change so that they come together closer and closer for January. But what is the meaning of these 2 powerful forces? Many of you have asked me to talk more about that. So 2 things in this meetup. First of all, what Pluto is bringing is that alchemy, an internal alchemy, where inside yourself you have been like a cauldron. You have been collecting all kinds of material from your conscious and your unconscious mind, and it has sort of been cooking, right? Because we have to have that for alchemy. And I want you to then think about the things not only that you put in that cauldron, but what is the fire that you have below it, and what is the gold that G-O-L-D that matches your goals, G-O-A-L, right now, because they are going to sync up, especially as we get towards January. Now, the deep transformation that alchemy brings to you is to raise your awareness about things that perhaps have been an unconscious and very destructive belief, but it has been hidden in some, well, they're kind of underworld, because Pluto is lord of the underworld. So they're like these cold coffins of deceit and lies. And I've said before that the thing we really want to see is not the lies and deceit on the world political stage. That's just an outpicturing. We want to see what lies have we been deceiving ourselves with about ourselves. So that's one of the energies. Then that's going to meet up with this energy from Saturn, which is, we have rarely felt so ambitious for success, with the willingness to work hard, to go for goals that are fair and full of integrity, so that we bring to the marketplace, to the global village, products that benefit everyone. So on the personal level, that means this week in particular, you want to give a check mark about that, because this is the week of the fourth quarter moon. It's the last week in the lunar cycle that started with the eclipse on July 2nd in Cancer. So we are finishing up this week. And then Wednesday on the quarter moon is always that crisis turning point for authenticity. So what we want to look for then in Saturn's contribution to this is what we are doing, whether we are having a product that's out in the world or we're creating a project at home. It doesn't have to be, a physical project, but maybe you're working on your relationship, for example, with someone in your family. Then this is the time where you'll get to see a preview of a completely out-of-the-box, unique, new way that you're going to handle your relationships. And of course, I always love that the door to that is opened by forgiveness, going towards that wonderful alchemy of complete forgiveness of everyone, including your parents, leading to the complete forgiveness of yourself. The 500-year cycle is about starting a new social order. And there's no question, there's been so many people talking about this and so many books recently written about science and technology, just leaping hurdles of heretofore impossible barriers, just transcending the limitations of time. Something that we thought would take forever and ever is happening in a very short span. And this new order 500 years ago was a new order, except that the dark side of this we're actually still seeing right now, and that is genocide. Because 500 years ago, 1500s, one example is that's when the Spaniards invaded Mexico, and through guns and then smallpox, they brought to these defenseless Mexicans a complete wipeout of their population, of their culture. And then they claimed the territory for themselves. And so we've had lots of these little demons that we call hostile takeovers. But of course, that kind of genocide of an entire native population, has happened over and over and over again in the past 500 years. And I challenge you just to look at the archetype on the world stage, because it informs as a macrocosm what's happening in a microcosm within all of us. In terms of, for example, the deceit and the ruthlessness, the desire for power at any cost that some of our leaders have. And right now, for example, the United States, who did the same thing those Spaniards did. The United States did it in 1848, and they took over Mexico's lands that are now Arizona, California, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and southwest Colorado and southwest Wyoming. And now if it weren't so sad, it would almost be laughable that now we want to put up a fence to keep Mexicans out of the land that historically was theirs, except we stole it. And whether we build the fence or don't build the fence, I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's a moot point, really, because what we're really talking about is the irrational and sort of conflict-laden underpinnings of this, which is the desire to build another indefensible border wall, just like we've done so many times, like in Berlin. And it's all egomania. And that's what we need to look at, right? And in ourselves. So when the ego takes over in me, I begin to think that I'm being attacked, that something's wrong, or I should attack somebody because they did something to me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all about conflict and one-upsmanship, or it's also for heavy introverts. It's a place where you take all that guilt and you become very depressed. Ego mania or egotism, ego at all, right, versus spirit. Ego is what I hope we are all putting in that alchemical cauldron that we're working on within ourselves. Now, let me come back and break down the energies of this week for you in terms of your own sun sign and moon sign. And remember, the main thing for you to learn and think about are the elements. So we start off the week with like quadruple Leo and Aries fire. So it is a lot of fire beginning this week. And you can expect spontaneity with that, as well as creativity. It's a beautiful combination for what James Hillman, he described the greatest form of creativity is when you can experience the spontaneity of a child. I'm sure you've seen many examples of how children can turn anything into play. And Leo is drama, because Leo is the actor. And speaking of that, we have Mars in Leo, and Mars in the sign of Leo is the thing you want to see in your astrology if you, in fact, you want to go to Hollywood and shine in a movie, because you have a natural affinity for the limelight and for a lot of drama. So you can also expect that this week. So to sum that up for you fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, by the end of this week, Saturday, we will have the Sun, we will have Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in fire signs. So that is a lot of playful creativity and lots of fun. I love the word Leela. It's sort of the higher octave of fun, called the play of the gods, where the divine, in that same spirit of joy and playfulness, created the universe. And in turn, you create your own. There are definitely going to be points, and you've already felt this, where that fire, that spark, that passion feels a bit fenced in, and that's because Mercury is still retrograde, so our communications are needing to be redone, resaid, rewritten, but that's going to be over July 31st, so just hang on. This Wednesday, which remember is the turning point quarter moon, well, it's also the day that Mercury retrograde is going to back up, it has been backing up into Cancer, and is going to meet Venus, who is there. Remember, she doesn't go into fire Leo until Saturday. So Wednesday, they are together, and that is sweet nothings. That's a beautiful mind, beautiful words, beautiful voice. So it's a perfect day for you to meet with or talk with someone and will share your love. I have a expression that I love, and it applies very much for this week, which is and especially Wednesday, which is be the first to say, I love you. I see people being afraid of saying I love you as though that's going to be some sort of prison sentence. But really, as you keep looking at that and saying that, we really love everyone. On your vacation, invite people to sit around the campfire and sing beautiful songs with you. And remember, Thursday, the 25th, is the win the lottery kind of day. It's just basically that you're going to feel you've just lucked into something very fortunate, and it's going to be as a result of something that you do or some action that you take versus some idea that you come up with. It's not going to be about that. So put yourself in motion. I don't think you'll have trouble doing that this week. And put yourself in motion as in your happiness and joy in the world. I had a wonderful supervisor once tell me that if you're not happy, you're not productive. And that's so true. Fire is also wonderful for all of you air signs. I know I'm having to tell you there's now this week starts a period with absolutely no planets in air. But air and fire is combustion. So you air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, you hook up with that fiery Leo energy in a lovely way that will start some creative thought, some new ideas, very creative ideas for you. And you do get one breath of air, we all do, on the 26th and 27th. Well, actually, more Saturday and Sunday. It's late on the 26th. So the weekend, we have the moon in Gemini. So that will lighten the mood. Gemini is remember in mythology, he is the only god who can travel through all realms. And so he is both the magician and the trickster. And we often download that energy as trying to multitask on everything, but instead be with it creatively and let yourself see how you can create from the knowledge of all realms. Sunday is just a lovely day for woodling, that is, doing nothing. It's a day for dreamers. So just surrender to that. You will love it. And on the road ahead, I just want to give you the heads up about a fabulous week. And that is the heat is on for the biggest party time of the year, the best vacation week of the year, undoubtedly. And that's August the 11th through the 17th. The Sun, Mercury, who's turned direct now, Venus and Mars are all in Leo. So trust me, even if you don't get to have a vacation then, you will not want to be in the office. And if you absolutely have to, then plan a picnic for lunch. Regretfully, I think we have become out of sync with sending our children back to school a little too early, and some of them may go back on the 13th and 14th. But really, when the sun goes into Virgo, that's really, Virgo's the hard worker, right? That's traditionally the day to go back to school. It will be the sun in Virgo and the moon in Virgo for Labor Day weekend, and obviously that's Virgo. If you want to consciously sync your energies with the stars, well, you could call it the force or the matrix created by many things, but the electromagnetic fields, then you want to think of our human family as a global village, because we live in this space, this single space, sort of resonant with tribal drums. And through technology and science now, our interdependence is creating a world in the image of a global village. We are all joined. Thanks for listening. You can always get in touch with me. Email Judith@judithroyal.com. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.